Good morning. Welcome to Allen Avenue Unitarian Universalist Church's online worship. My name is Erica Bartlett. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm a member of the worship committee. We are a freely gathered, open, welcoming community supported by your contributions, which can be made with the donate button on our website, by going to our Breeze program if you're a member, or by mailing your check to 524 Allen Avenue, Portland, Maine. Please note if the donation is your pledge or a gift to our Share the Plate for December. Our Share the Plate recipient for December is the Minister's Discretionary Fund. The Minister's Discretionary Fund is at the heart of our common ministry. It's a visible demonstration of our care for each other. Your generous gifts allow the minister to provide assistance to members of our church community or to the greater Portland community who are experiencing difficult times financially. If you're struggling with your finances in these challenging times, please contact Reverend Donna. This morning's Potpourri service is presented by Allen Avenue's Worship Committee. Lay-led worship is a tradition at this and many other Unitarian Universalist societies. Here at Allen Avenue, the Worship Committee either sponsors or presents about one service a month. On most other Sundays, worship is led by our minister, the Reverend Donna Dolan. You're invited to join us today, December 27th at 10:45 for our congregational conversation and coffee hour. The Zoom link can be found on our website. To learn more about Allen Avenue Unitarian Universalist Church, please go to our website at A2U2.org.
Good morning. I am Rick Kimball, a member of the Worship Committee and coordinator of this 2020 A2U2 Potpourri service. I welcome all who are viewing this virtual event, and I offer these chalice lighting words. May the flame of our chalice remind us that in the dark, even a small light can make a world of difference. Just as in time of dispute and distrust, every small act of kindness can make a world of difference. Just as in the midst of tumult and turmoil, a simple tune sung from the heart can overpower the noise and make a world of difference. Let's sing our opening hymn, Ring Out Wild Bells, number 58 for those of you who have a book at hand.
the flying cloud, the frosty light. The year is dying in the night. Ring out wild bells and let it die. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring happy bells across the snow. The year is going, let it go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Ring out the grief that saps the mind. For those that hear we see no more. Ring out the feud of rich and poor. Ring in redress to humankind. Ring out false pride in place and blood, the civic slander and the spite. Ring in the love of truth and right. Ring in the common love of God.
Let us now enter the spirit of worship, a time of connection with self, with mystery, with present, with future, with past, with a focus for just a minute on the past of a difficult year. How do you summarize 2020? The gentlest word that comes to my mind is muddle. Perhaps that feels too lightweight to you. For a year with so much illness and death, political strife and personal loss. Yet the year had goodness too, for heroes stood to meet the illness and death. For some politicians, journalists, and others stood to speak proud truth, often at personal risk. And many stood to assist and comfort those who suffered personal loss. Yes, the word muddled works for me as I look back on a time when I often did not know just what to think. The word muddle works well for this morning's service, too, for this is our annual Potpourri, a muddled by intent and design. At least a quasi-muddle this time around. If you have been with us for past potpourris in our sanctuary, you know that they are happenings on the first Sunday after Christmas. Happenings with people asked to sign up as they come through the door to contribute whatever they like. Music, readings, personal reflections, whatever. But in this muddled year of 2020, our approach must be and is different. Because this is a recorded service, a few of us know in advance of its showing just what it contains, provided by members and friends who responded to our newsletter and other invitations. So spontaneity is out this time around, but spirituality is in. If, that is, if your definition of spirituality is broad enough to encompass the connective power of creative act, of humor, of song, of travel, of poetry. But let's move on and begin with Potpourri Part 1. Participants will include Connie Cross, Susan Selby, and Sue Hubley.
Good morning, friends. Well, we're into a new year, and it's True Confessions time. When I was 40, I started hitting the bottle. No, not that bottle. The hair dry bottle. Here's how it went down. My younger sister was getting married, and I was to be the bridesmaid. And I, the older sister, unmarried at the time, was starting to get gray hair. And I said, no way, am I going to be in her wedding looking like the old maid sister with graying hair? So I took myself down to see my friend Dennis, who turned me purple. Oh, that's another story. I'm not going to get into that now. Anyway, he fixed it, and I became a good brunette again. And then over the years, I started getting a little bit lighter because by the time I was 60, I was kind of afraid that dark hair was going to make me look like an aging waitress in a truck stop, and I didn't like that idea, so I kind of became a dark blonde. And then at one point, I actually became too much of a blonde, And I didn't really like that, so I was back to a dark blonde again. I mean, I've had all of these different changes, all the way knowing that when I got really old, which I figured was around 80, I would just give it all up. So then what happened was the coronavirus came in. And of course, like many of you, I could not get to my hairdresser for like 3 months. And during those 3 months, my hair started growing out. And I figured, okay, well, I'm not really old yet, although I was pushing it. And I thought, well, what the heck, I'll just give it up. So over the summer, lo and behold, woohoo, I turned gray, white, whatever, and I figured, well, I'm in good company. Jane Fonda has done this. If she can do it, I can too. So there we go. And I like it, and I'm happy to say that although I'm not really old yet, it's okay. I like this. I'm owning it, and I'm good with it. So I do have a friend, though, and I'm just asking for a friend. She's a little concerned about the wrinkles on her upper lip. And do any of you know anybody who does Botox?
Hi, this is Susan Selby, and I'm going to spend a couple of minutes sharing some of my art with you, along with some quotations. This one speaks for itself. This is a wonderful day. I've never seen this one before. Maya Angelou. Why do you two colors put one next to the other sing? Pablo Picasso. The object isn't to make art. It's to be in that wonderful state which makes art inevitable. If you could say it in words, there would be no reason to paint. Edward Hopper. Art enables us to find ourselves and lose ourselves at the same time. Thomas Merton. Though I am often in the depths of misery, there is still calmness, pure harmony, and music inside me. Vincent van Gogh. You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star. Friedrich Nietzsche. Sometimes the hardest part of the journey is believing you are worth the trip. Glenn Beck. One must give value to their existence by behaving as if one's very existence were a work of art. Friedrich Nietzsche. Here I sit beneath a tree, heartbeat calm, soul hums free. Angie Welland Crosby. Walk outside on a clear night and just look up into the sky. You are sitting on a planet spinning around in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Michael Singer. You are the universe experiencing itself as human for a little while. Eckhart Tolle. And that, my friends, is the end.
Hi, I'm Susie Hubley, and there's some things that I've wondered about, and it occurred to me I might look up the answers and share them with you. Lucky you. These are not questions like the ones that George Carlin asked, which had an absurd irony to them. These questions have no redeeming value at all. Okay, question 1. Why do Canada geese honk while they're flying in formation? Wouldn't it make sense to preserve their energy? Well, as it turns out, the net effect of the honking may not be a waste of energy. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation asked a biologist to explain the honking, and she said that researchers think the sounds help maintain the functionality of the V formation and coordinate position changes. Because the V helps the birds use less energy and honking helps maintain the V, I guess it makes metabolic sense to honk. Question 2. Why does my cat Rudy make little noises whenever he does anything? It's not a meow, it's just a little noise like, it's like a thought will strike him and he just has to punctuate it with a sound. But unfortunately, I didn't find an answer. I found one description of a cat who sounded like Rudy, but that owner didn't know why either. So I guess I just have to be content with not knowing, as with so much else in life, especially with cats. Question 3. How do earthworms plow such extensive tunnels through the soil, considering how soft and squishy their bodies are? I found answers galore. The problem was condensing the information. So, but any biologists out there, please let me know if I've gotten it wrong. So, earthworms are far from being the simplistic little grunts that I thought they were. The worm uses circular and longitudinal muscles to move along, making its body shorter and longer with wave-like muscular contractions. It also uses little bristles called setae or setae, I don't know how to pronounce it, to anchor part of itself to the soil to facilitate movement. The worm can change its shape and fit into tight spaces because of its hydrostatic or fluid-filled skeleton. And now I want to recite a poem, which is the whole reason I'm talking about earthworms. I wrote this in my teens, and my brother and I thought it was hilarious. You can draw your own conclusions. The title is Sherm the Worm. My head is soft. I'm feeling so small. I've been making little tunnels all my life, and I never minded it. And that's it.
I invite you to the magic space of meditation, the space that shuts off the sounds of traffic and feelings of pain, that shuts off the sights of headlines and people worrying, and surfaces that need a good dusting, a space that frees us to connect with self, with the core of others, with the wonders of the great mystery. Let us surrender to that space for a full 2 minutes of silence before Dale's gentle music calls us back to now. I cannot know whether our meditative space worked for you. There is much to distract us in our homes or wherever we are. Those trucks and trains roaring by, planes droning overhead, needy kids, the warming sun and the call of a bird outside. But I hope that each of us sometime today can find a few minutes to enter that magic space of meditation, that moment of connection with inner self, with the best we can find in friends and others, with the world of need and hope, and with the mystery beyond. It's time now for the second of our 3 potpourri parts. This one will include Barbara Murray, Keith Prairie, Peter Reed, and John Howard.
I'm Peter Reed, and this is my UU meditation bead string. It's made of polished stones that may be something called banded carnelian, and some red jasper. The large ones are smooth oval surfaces that feel comforting between my fingers and thumb. The smaller ones are rounded pebbles of irregular shapes that add interesting texture. Both have relaxing physical and visual contours. There's a UU chalice pendant hung from one end. The 7 large stones represent our UU principles. The 6 smaller stones between, the sources of our beliefs. As I meditate, the poetry of each principle unfolds in intricate detail that leads me to focus on individual words and their relationship to my actions. Each source expands into a broad vista that can never be fully explored in only one lifetime. Thank you for letting me show you my bead string.
Hi, my name is John Howard. Well, here we are staring down the barrel of another long winter in the frosty state of Maine, and this time in lockdown, and no planes we can get on to go someplace warm. Where would I like to be right now? Probably a beach on the island of Maui. Yeah, that would be really good. Or maybe Cancun. Sure. This was the winter we got to bid on and won a timeshare north of Cancun, which Cush Anthony kindly put up for auction at our church fundraiser. What a treat. Now that we've discovered Zoom, let's get together sometime and share some places we've been to. Why not? I like scrapbooks, and with screen share or virtual backgrounds, which is what I'm using here, we could really do this. I know, slideshows, how boring, right? But when you can't go there, this might just get us through the winter. One of the more exotic places I've been to was on a trip to Australia and New Zealand. This is the Sydney Opera House, the famous Milford Sound. In 2010, when Steve and I got married, we went to this spot high above Chamonix in the French Alps. And another town of the French Alps nearby is Annecy, which is a lakeside town with canals. More recently, we got to go to England with our friend Mark Chinsky, Stonehenge, and some beautiful fan vaulting in the Cathedral of Canterbury. Now, Maine is certainly a beautiful state, but maybe tied with Hawaii, I'd recommend Alaska as a real national treasure. And I particularly suggest the Southeast Panhandle part between Juneau and Ketchikan. This is Sitka. This is Ketchikan. And this is the little town of Wrangell, as seen from the deck of the Matanuska, part of the state ferry system, which I highly recommend also. California is always nice, driving along Big Sur coast or that gem of a state park, Point Lobos, near Monterey. Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. Or maybe you'd like the Pacific Northwest, where you can stay in the historic lodge in Paradise, Mount Rainier, named for the beautiful wildflowers that the trails wander through. We were lucky to get clear weather on this trip. My parents came with us, and here they are in a spontaneous pose, with my former husband, Larry. Now, for world-class scenery, you really can't beat the Grand Canyon, which I got to go through from rim to rim with a bunch of cousins and siblings about 6 years ago. Good memories. So how about it? Maybe we could form a group to get together and share scrapbooks or unique travel experiences while we wait for a vaccine to come out. Think about it. Thanks for sharing this with me.
Our meditative hymn is Dark of Winter, number 55. This is a favorite of mine, and we have sung it together at this end-of-year service on many different occasions in many different years. I sometimes hum it to myself in my own moments of need, when I want a bit of comfort. Let's sing it together now.
soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me.
Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly,
And then my soul will sing a song,
a blessed song of love eternal,
gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me.
Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly.
When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me.
And then my soul may hear a voice,
A still small voice of love eternal, darkness when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
Our muddle continues with this third and final part of our potpourri. Participants include Lindy Huff, Mike Luce, and Erica Bartlett.
Hello, I'm Lindy Huff. I'm going to read a poem I wrote today, December 16th, 2020. It's called COVID Blues. December marks the 9th month of the pandemic. Our minds blur. Our emotions wish to drive the roads we drove as a child, to find the comfort we found with our family, find our friends now. We're so lucky. We know we shouldn't complain. We are not sick. We don't have COVID. We admire first-line workers, feel grateful to hospital personnel working hard to cure people who are sometimes defeated as COVID has its way. They begin again, courageously, broken-hearted. How many times can you watch your heart lose to death without wanting to throw in the towel? You don't leave because you can help those who are here. You can help the families. You can help the sick and dying. And some go home, recover. We try to keep up our own spirits, partly not drag others around us down. Try to bring joy to others. The squirrel scoots along the fence. Fat black and white cat sniffs at the compost dumped under the willow, smelling chicken. But all that's left are bones, vague chicken smell, orange rinds. He jumps up on top of the fence, looks around, gazes at a brilliant red cardinal out of his reach. Thank you very much.
So good morning. My name's Mike Luce, and I thought it would be interesting this morning to take you around and show you my shop. A lot of you have bought things from me at the Christmas fairs and whatnot for the church. So here we go. This is where it comes from. And you're looking at my bench, of course. And I've got some tea boxes in progress right now. And one of the things that, beyond working with the wood itself, I've really developed a love for hand tools. This old Stanley #5 was my father's, as was this very old tape measure. And a lot of these chisels have come from various times and places, and they're all razor sharp. That's a point of pride of mine. And my favorite tool, simplest of all, a card scraper. It's just a piece of metal. But if you tune those edges up right, you can clean glue lines, you can smooth a surface until it's like fine sandpaper. Wonderful tool. I just love it for its simplicity and multitasking. So as we go down here, around here are my saws, mostly Japanese style pull saws, various measuring stuff, more tools, which I use sometimes, my hand planes, which are just a joy to use. Now this is my wall of where did I put it? There's all kinds of stuff here, all kinds of labels, more or less accurate. I know I can find sandpaper, I know I can find glue. The rest of it I sort of have to guess at a little bit as to where I put it last. My library, along with my little Scotia Chingos here that keep me company. And clamps. The clamps start here. And then they go over here. And over here. It is a truism that you never have enough clamps. My table saw with a wall of jigs so that I can do various things on it. And around to the other side, this is my main carving station with my full-size gouges. Also really, really rewarding to use. And other tools, everything's on wheels. This is a pretty small shop. And I must end up with my companions, my inspiration. Have a good morning.
Good morning. My name is Erica Bartlett, and this piece is titled Morning Stillness and Solitude. Over the summer, I started going for walks early, around 5:30 or 6 a.m. And even now, I sometimes get out around 6. In the summer, the early walks were to avoid the heat, but now they're because I enjoy the morning stillness and solitude. I realize that it's a bit odd to talk about seeking time alone when I live by myself and rarely see anyone, but being in nature offers a different kind of solitude. When I'm walking outside, even if I hear distant traffic, I'm relieved to be away from human made things. I do carry my phone, but I only use it for photos. I can simply be without worry or distraction from emails or dishes or laundry or enticing videos or even playing with my cats. Instead, I focus on the world around me, wind cooling my skin, graceful flight of birds overhead, trees rooted and steadfast, squirrels scampering away when I startle them, clouds and sky forming an ever-changing mural that delights and inspires. All of this nourishes me in ways that food, no matter how good, cannot. It fills me with enough sustenance to get me through the day, and it reminds me that there's more to this world than what's on the news. I feel so privileged to have the opportunity for these walks. Not only privileged in the sense of having access to these spaces and the freedom to go out at my leisure, although that's important, but this feeling goes beyond that. As Alan Watts said, through our eyes, the universe is perceiving itself. We are the witnesses through which the universe becomes conscious of its glory, of its magnificence. That's the privilege I feel, of being alive in this place and time, to know that I'm part of the universe becoming aware of itself. I'm also reminded of how precious everything around me is, and these regular doses of beauty, of being wonderful, help me in these difficult times. I know these early mornings aren't for everyone, And to be honest, I'm grateful for that. It gives me a chance to have this time for solitude and stillness with nature, to fill my heart before I go into the day.
Thank you to all of those who agreed to participate today. I like to think that some of you watching might have thought, oh, hey, I know what I might have brought to this potpourri. If that's the case, share whatever it is later today with your family, your friends, whenever and however you can. Sharing is good. So let's share our final hymn, There Is More Love Somewhere, number 95.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
As we end this time together and move to bathe in the pleasures of this day's remaining hours, let us commit to finding time to look back on 2020 and accept the truths it has offered us, and then to look forward with hope to 2021 and accept the challenges along with the joys it will bring us. Be at peace, my friends. Be at peace.